Pokemon, Game Freak, 25周年おめでとうございます. Congratulations on your 25th anniversary. What a milestone. I can't imagine how proud you all must feel. I can't say that I've been playing Pokemon for 25 years, but I did start playing as early as I could. I was about 9 years old. I was in the 4th grade when Pokemon exploded in Brazil, where I was born. This was some time after Pokemon had already gone viral in the United States, long after its launch in Japan, so it was through Ash Ketchum, through Pokemon Yellow version, and through the Pokemon trading card game that Pokemon entered my life. I was a curious kid, encouraged by my parents, who are both biology teachers. I was, and I still am, fascinated by ecology, zoology, paleontology, geology, mythology. I had a collection of rocks and gemstones that I was really proud of. I was an avid reader, and fantastical beings always captured my attention and my imagination. I guess what I'm trying to say is I was exactly the target audience for Pokemon. An unexplored world full of friendly and fantastical creatures where kids like me are free to roam and explore and are encouraged to collect and learn about as many different critters as possible. That felt like dreamland to me. And then when Pokemon Gold and Silver and later Crystal versions came out, even though Pokemania was kind of dying down and there were fewer people around me who were playing Pokemon, I dove in. I couldn't get enough. There were Pokemon that only appeared at certain times of day, characters that would call you with tips on where to catch rare Pokemon or when they wanted to battle or give you an item, special Pokemon that you could only encounter if you paid attention to the rumors, a radio that you could listen to and affect your environment, powerful Pokemon that you had to literally chase around the map, and the opportunity to revisit Kanto, to see how the region had changed, how the characters that you'd met before had grown. The Pokemon world felt like a real place, with people and Pokemon living in it, with both intriguing mysteries and dynamic ecosystems. The Pokemon world was the world I wanted to live in. Every once in a while, I go back and play one of the second generation games again. I always love it. The region, the characters, the creatures themselves, and especially the visual style of the Pokemon sprites and their animations, it's all incredibly nostalgic, but it still has a strength of its own. But there is a problem. I know those games too well. I can prepare for the more difficult challenges. I don't do so consciously, but I instinctively know what to expect. The fact is, I will never be able to play Pokemon Silver or Crystal for the first time again. And so, as I've grown older, and especially now as a fully fledged adult, the one thing that I've wanted from every new Pokemon game is to recapture that experience. And I have adored almost every generation of Pokemon games. There is always something special to exploring a region without knowing anything about it. But I have to be honest, the games do feel different. Modern Pokemon games are missing some of what I, at least, consider part of the soul of Pokemon. I understand that every new generation attracts new players, and every generation of new players will have different preferences or a different sense of what is the soul of Pokemon. For me, who started with the first and second generations, Pokemon is more about exploration and discovery. For someone who started with the fourth or the fifth generations, it might be more about the lore and the mythic history of the Pokemon world. For those who started with the sixth or the seventh generation, the point of interest might be more the dynamic battles and the awesome displays of power. And for you to develop a game that caters to such a wide-ranging audience, trying to balance out all of these different preferences and still come up with something that feels fresh and unique and fun, that must be incredibly difficult. However, I do feel that many of the core elements that brought me to Pokemon and that have kept me coming back for 7 more generations have been left behind. So, on this occasion of your 25th anniversary, I want to remind you what those core elements are, and I'd like to make some requests of your future games. I love Pokemon for the creatures and for the world, not for the gameplay. The battles are fun, but by themselves, they would not be enough for me to enjoy a main series Pokemon game. It's important to me for the creatures to really feel like animals, be it in how they behave, their relationships to humans, or their predator and prey relationships in the wild. I don't mean that they need to feel like specific animals. Just because a Pokemon looks like a cat doesn't mean it needs to act like one. What I mean is that they shouldn't have anthropomorphized personalities. Lately, a lot of Pokemon, from Calyrex to Inteleon, have had such specific personality traits that they feel more like human characters than like animals. And that really defines the kinds of bonds that I can have with those Pokemon. If I don't like the personality, I can't like the Pokemon. It also plays into making the world feel convincing as a real world. I find it very difficult to imagine what a wild Inteleon would act like, whereas something like a Feraligatr is easy to imagine swimming in the rivers of Johto. More animalistic Pokemon also help the world feel more alive. Nothing makes a bigger difference in that regard than keeping the Pokemon world connected. The Delta episode in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire established how the Pokemon world is really an infinite mesh of parallel universes. That was a fantastic idea. I loved the concept that my experience of Pokemon Yellow is just a parallel universe to someone else's Pokemon Red. But since then, the Pokemon world has felt more fragmented, like we're losing that shared universe, that shared timeline that was fairly consistent from the first generation until the sixth, more or less. Galar felt isolated because there are almost no references to characters or events from other regions. There are no returning characters, no travelers bragging about the incredibly strong trainers from their region, no comments about the major events from previous storylines. Because of this, Galar was shallow and dull. Without connection, there is no Pokemon world. At the same time, though, I think it's important to emphasize novelty over nostalgia. I don't want to be playing essentially the same Pokemon game over and over again. You've surprised us wonderfully before, like when you gave us Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 instead of following the patterns from previous generations. And I really appreciate the ways that you've experimented with the game and the story structure in Pokemon Sun and Moon and Pokemon Sword and Shield. I want to see even more of that. More surprises, more unexpected releases. I know how many people are hoping for or even expecting remakes of the 4th generation games, but that's not what I want. I want to revisit previous regions, yes, but I don't want to replay the same storylines again. I want to see those regions and their stories expanded on. I want sequels, like Black 2 and White 2, or how Gold, Silver, and Crystal were sequels to Red, Green, Blue, and Yellow. Not remakes. Those nostalgic elements need to be there to keep the Pokemon world connected, but they shouldn't be the entire game. Finally, I ask that you trust your players. Trust us, regardless of our age, to figure out what needs to be done. When I was 9 years old, you trusted me to figure out how to defeat Brock, even though my starter Pokemon was Pikachu. To explore the Safari Zone thoroughly enough that I could find the secret house and the Warden's gold teeth. To locate all 4 chambers of the Ruins of Alph and uncover their secrets. To learn Braille, just so that I could read the riddles that unlocked the Reggie. Today, I'm 31, and I'm not even given the challenges that I had when I was 9. Not only have the challenges not aged up with me, which is understandable, but today's 9-year-olds don't get those challenges either. And it's not just about puzzles. The plot of the game, the motivations of the antagonists, the history of the region, even where to find certain Pokemon. All of that can benefit from having aspects that are not totally clear, but that you can figure out if you're paying attention. I need a game and a story that encourage me and reward me for exploring, for learning, for discovering. Naturally, I can only speak for myself. I will not pretend that what I want and expect from Pokemon games is the same as everyone else. But I know that I'm not alone. At the time that I'm writing and recording this, I have no idea what you might have in store for us this year, what the next big main series game is going to be like. Maybe you've already considered everything that I talked about. I will be ecstatic if that is the case. But even if it isn't, I hope that you will keep this perspective in mind as you finish working on the next game and as you plan the ones after. I have one more request to make of you, but this isn't about your games. It's about you, the people who make the Pokemon games. We need you to communicate with us more frequently and more honestly. We need you to explain your decisions and your challenges clearly, openly, and in an upfront manner. If you've decided not to include every Pokemon in the game, show us exactly what you're putting your efforts into instead, and tell us that more Pokemon will be added later. Tell us about yourselves. Show us more of how you make Pokemon games, your ideals, your company structure. Tell us about who designs Pokemon and the kinds of decisions that go into it. Tell us about your environment artists and how you plan and create the areas of the game. Tell us about your writers and how you come up with the stories of the games and Pokédex entries for every Pokemon, and how your games get translated and localized. We want to know more about you. And you have been doing a little bit of that recently, but I hope that you will ramp it up even more. My love for Pokemon will never die. Pokemon is an inextricable part of who I am. It's pushed me to take risks and go outside of my comfort zone multiple times. My interests, my values, my friendships have all been shaped by Pokemon, by you. So, congratulations again on this amazing milestone. And here's to 25 more years of Pokemon. ありがとうございます。